That is an MH6 helicopter. The little bird. It costs about $6,250, which makes it the cheapest helicopter you can buy. And right now, I have 6 souls on board. If I crash this thing, every one of them loses whatever they spent on their
Oh,
loadout.
oh, oh, oh. Is that a Wardogs world first barrel roll?
Let's go, boys. So I've got about 26 hours in the Wardogs Alpha at this point. Honestly, I didn't expect to play anywhere near that much. I kept telling myself, all right, one more round, and then another round. And apparently I did that for 26 hours. So with the beta coming up, I just wanted to talk about what actually kept bringing me back, because there's something about this gameplay loop here that I don't think you really understand until you've played it. And for me, a lot of it came down to the risk and reward. You know, you earn cash by playing, you use that cash to bring better equipment into the next fight. And maybe you've had a good run, you survived for a while, and you've made 40 or 50 grand, maybe even more. But now you got a decision to make. You want to spend that money on better equipment by unlocking it, give yourself an advantage, or do you want to come in cheap, try to preserve your bankroll and take the equipment from somebody else? Because that, to me, is where things start getting interesting. You can come into a match with equipment that's honestly not that great. Take somebody down who's much further along in their progression with assault, for example. You can start looting them, and suddenly you're looking at their stuff and you're like,
Oh, this guy has an M4. Holy sh!
ooh, I don't even have this unlocked yet. You know, level 3, level 4 body armor, things you don't have access to yet. And you take it, and suddenly you're the guy with the advantage. It's almost like this casino feeling to it. You can spend a bunch of money trying to give yourself every possible edge and lose it almost instantly. Or you can come in with almost nothing and you can take somebody else's hard-earned loadout and have one of the best rounds. And when that happens, you definitely want to do it again.
Me too.
But I think the other thing that kept me playing was the team play. Going solo is definitely possible, especially if you're playing recon. But there's not a whole lot of action when you're just laying in a bush. And if you run into a coordinated group that's actually communicating, taking them all down is not going to be easy. And the movement isn't ridiculously fast. You can't, you know, like Call of Duty, slide around a corner, wipe 3 people and disappear. You're fighting, you're taking damage, you're trying to heal. And you got to think about repositioning, because now they can talk, point you out, and you're kind of screwed. Alpha playtime as a trio with some friends, we'd go in for fobs, we'd hack them, we'd destroy enemy positions, we'd try to take control of, you know, their strongholds. And sometimes everything would go according to plan. We'd take the position, we'd start looting, start healing, maybe finally get a second to breathe. And then you'd hear a helicopter, and it's a little bird coming in, or a bigger, you know, helicopter coming in with 4 more guys, or somebody lands with 6 or 9 players now back into the fight. And remember, there's multiple factions involved here. So sometimes you're fighting one group, and then somebody else will roll in, basically ruining your plans. And those are probably some of the best moments from the alpha, because when everything starts happening at once, it feels like something out of a movie. I think that's also one of the biggest questions about Wardogs. You know, that has nothing to do with the first few hours. I'm much more interested in what this game looks like after a few hundred hours. Because even during the alpha, I watched the game change. At the beginning, everybody was learning. People didn't have access to the best armor. There weren't immediately spawning powerful vehicles like tanks or artillery tanks. They didn't know where to go or what to build. But by day 3, it almost felt like a completely different game. People were showing up with better armor, better weapons, suppressed M4s, you know, extended mags, better sniper rifles, ghillie suits, and better vehicles. You know, they just knew exactly what they wanted to build at the fobs. They already had a design laid out, how to protect people from getting to the fob to hack it. They knew where to put their defense. You know, they knew they could put down a man pad and start taking out helicopters that were flying in troops or destroying supply lines. And suddenly the fights became much more complicated. And that leads probably to my biggest question going into the beta, is what happens when everybody knows what they're doing? What does Wardogs look like 6 months after release, when people progress through assault support and recon? And when everybody has access to the same good equipment, does that progression make the game even more strategic? It's one of the things I'm hoping the beta starts to answer. There's always the question of cheating. And there were a handful of deaths during the alpha that just felt different. And I'm obviously not going to call somebody a cheater because I lost a gunfight, but there was a couple moments where I walked away thinking, okay, that felt a little off, you know? Despite those questions, I think the easiest way I can explain how I feel about War Dogs is just the amount of the time that I played it. I didn't go into the alpha expecting to spend 26 hours. I definitely didn't expect it to be the game that got me playing on keyboard and mouse again. And something definitely kept making me hit play again. I think, I don't know, the risk, the progression, the team play, those moments where ordinary fights turn into just like, what the hell is going on? And oh, by the way, I'm PLATYPAUS. And this is my first Wardogs video. When the beta starts, I'm going back in, except I'm actually going to remember to hit record. I've got a lot of questions about this game. The 26 hours in the alpha was enough to make me want more. And that probably says more than anything else I could tell you. I'll see you in the beta. And also, shout out to Muffin for letting me use his alpha gameplay.